Good morning once again. My name is John Sanders. I'm the District Athletic Director for Savannah Public Schools. I want to thank you all for coming today to our basketball media day. I'm excited about having you all come here today and talk about your team and expectations and all the players that are able to join us today and kind of give your input on how you think your team's doing and your expectations as well for the year. Also like to thank all our media partners who were able to show up today and come and support our athletics programs here in the district. I'd also like to thank Khalil Watson, the athletic director here at Beach High School, and her coaches and staff for being able to allow us to come over and use this facility and help get things set up. So thank you all for all that. And before we get too far into the program, I'd also like to thank my staff at the District Athletics Office. We have Ashley Trumpet-Scott. She is going to pick up some food, so she'll be back here shortly. Brianna Stewart, she's out front. Y'all see her in a little bit. She'll be out there helping out with food and some different things. Milton State, right here with us, and then Kevin Brown, back in the back. So appreciate all the work they do to help get the athletic programs for the high school and middle schools going for each season. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about some highlights from last year and kind of put that behind us. Then we'll move forward into some things for this year. So highlights from last year. We had 7 of our girls teams, 7 of our 9 girls teams qualify for the state playoffs. That's awesome. Johnson High School was the region champions for Region 3A, and New Hampstead High School were region champs for 4A, their 4A region, 3-4A. So congratulations again for those accomplishments, and as well moving on to state. Had 8 of our 9 boys teams qualify for the state playoffs. Rose High School, they were the Region 3A champs last year. 5 of those boys teams, Beach High School, Groves High School, Johnson High School, Windsor Forest High School, and Woodville Tompkins, all moved forward to make the state quarterfinals, which is the Elite 8. 3 of those teams, Beach, Windsor, and Woodville, made their state Final 4, which are the semifinals. And one of the teams, Windsor Forest, played in the state finals and was the state runner-up last year. So just listening to all that, we have a lot of success in basketball. We're very proud of our basketball programs. We have great coaches. Kids work really hard. And so we're excited for another year, and hopefully we have the same success or greater. A couple of other things I want to talk about. We want to remind everybody that security screening is still in effect for all of our events. You know, we did it the last couple of years. We've been doing it for football, flag football, volleyball. We're continuing that for all our basketball games as well. That's probably something that is not going to go away. So it's going to be here pretty much forever, as far as I can tell. Tickets will still be all electronic. There'll be no cash tickets to be bought at the gate. So make sure all your fans and parents and everyone knows that they can get electronic tickets through GoFan. And generally, we open up those GoFan links at least 24 hours before the event starts, so they can go on and get the tickets. I don't think there will be any, or I know there won't be any guidelines to limitations on how many people are allowed in the gym, so there should be plenty of room to be able to get your tickets. Now, some changes for the 22-23 year. First of all, there's a big push on sportsmanship. The coaches, I'm sure, have seen this, the ADs have seen this, but Georgia High School sent out a statement this week talking about sportsmanship, about security at games, about the behavior of fans, spectators. So one of the main changes with this is that, you know, when the coach goes out for the pregame meeting with the officials, it's generally the coach from each team, the captains, and the officials. Well, this year before each game, to add to that, the game administrator has to be in that meeting, as well as the head of security at that site. So a school resource officer or likewise would have to be there for those meetings. So what I'm looking at and thinking what Georgia High School is going to be doing is they're going to be requiring these administrators to really pay attention more to crowd. And if there's spectators, you know, giving their officials a hard time, it's going to be the administrator's responsibility to go to those fans and say, listen, if you don't, you know, chirp it down a little bit, take it down another notch, and we'll have to ask you to leave. So you might want to kind of pass that along to your fans. We don't want to have anybody removed from site, but I think the way things look, looks like Georgia High School might start fining schools if this continues. So another big change, we had the mandatory shot clock this year, which I know everybody's been practicing with. So that's going to be a big change. Can't go down the stall. Got to get that ball off, just like high school, just like college and the NBA. So that's a big change for everybody. The Holiday Classic is coming back. I know we haven't had that in the last few years because of COVID. More information will be coming on that, but it's going to be the dates are December 15th through 17th. Like I said, more information to come. And the other big change is regional alignments. Last few years, a lot of our teams played in the same regions. This year, spread out a little bit. So Savannah High and Woodville will be in Region 3A, Division 1. Windsor Forest will be in Region 3-2A. Beach, Groves, and Johnson will be in Region 3-3A. Highlands and New Hampstead are in Region 3-4A, and the Jenkins is up there by themselves in 5A, Region 1-5A. So we are spread out 5 different classifications. So to me, that gives us more opportunities to make the playoffs. We're not going to be beating up on each other. So maybe we'll have some more opportunities there. All right, now I'm going to just talk about kind of the order of events today and kind of what we expect for the coaches and players to talk about in the media. So the order will be, we're kind of going backwards, alphabetical order. So we'll start with Woodville, then Windsor Forest, then going down Savannah High, New Hampstead, Johnson, Jenkins, Islands, Groves, and Beach, Mr. Milton State. We'll come up here and he'll kind of remind you of the order. Once the one group gets done, he'll remind you who's supposed to be coming up next. And what the coaches, what we're asking y'all to do is kind of give us a kind of evaluation of your team. What are your goals and expectations? Discuss the players, introduce your players, discuss the players that you have up there, any other returning players, and how they're going to impact your season. And then kind of elaborate a little bit on your new region, what you know about your region, and how you think you're going to do in your region competition this year. We're asking our media partners for our formal presentation today, just to ask one question per media group. So everybody can ask one question to the team. If you have more questions after the formal event, you're more than welcome to pull the coach and players aside and ask them some more questions. Okay? We appreciate that so we can just honor everybody's time. So, with no further ado, Mr. State, you come on up here. We're going to start with Woodville Tompkins. We're going to start with the girls coach, Jeffrey Roberson. And coach, when you get up here, just introduce your girls you have with you and kind of talk about your team. Appreciate it.
Coach Lenny Williams, you're on deck, okay?
Hello, everyone. I'm Coach Robinson from Woodville Tompkins Girls Basketball Team. Today I have with me on my left, Savannah, and on my right, Shania Hager. Two seniors, great players, both have offers already for colleges. This year, for the last 2 years, we've actually made it to the Sweet 16 and played for the region championship. Looking to go forward further this year, actually looking to win it all. We have a saying, if you never do anything extra, you always be average. And we're doing a lot of extra stuff this year, a lot of different changes. Sometimes we come in for morning workouts. Our region, I think about 5 years ago, we was in Class A, and now in Class A, they have different teams that we're playing. So I can't say too much about the team that we're going to meet. However, I do think that Scriven County will be a challenge for us. I think they played Swainsboro over the summer break, and they beat Swainsboro by 1 point. So Swainsboro was kind of our rivalry team. So I think Scriven may be this season. As far as the other teams, Coach from Bryan County, I can't call his name right now. Mincy, yeah, Coach Mincy, he always had a good program, so I'm looking for him to get his girls prepared and have a good season. Claxton, I don't know too much about them or the rest of the teams, but those are the teams that I know we got to prepare for this season. Any questions?
How does it look playing, you get to play a local team this year? How does that feel? You get to play Savannah High twice this year. That's a good rivalry game to be built up in the city.
Yeah, as I said, we haven't played any of these teams. Savannah High, I know with Coach Johnson, he will have his girls prepared, and he knows how to work with those girls, especially the post players. But we saw them, I think, over the summer, and they have some good guards, so we welcome that competition.
Coach, what would be the team's strengths this year? Can you describe their style that you guys like?
I think in this region, I really think we have two of the best post players in the Southeast. And our goal each game is to beat you down low. We have Sanai, which is our senior finesse player. Last game, she had an off game. I think she only had like 2 points the first half. And I said, well, Sanai, your shots are not on, you gotta drive the ball. So she came out second half, got left. So that's our thing. If you stop us down low, we can pull it out because Hayward, she's an all-around player. She plays some post and she can come out and shoot the three.
So Hayward is below the two post players?
Yes. Any other questions?
Lofty expectations to come out and just say you expect to win it all. Is that just the mantra that you've had all summer as you and into the fall as you prepare for this season? Or have you kind of really looked around and sized up the competition and said, we have a legitimate chance to win it all?
Well, I expect to beat anybody on any given day, no matter what class you're in. But with going to the Sweet 16 last year and not losing anyone, I expect to go further this year.
Since you have a lot of these returning players, that continuity, how do you feel your girls measure up to the other teams here in Savannah?
Can you repeat the question?
I said since you're having a lot more continuity because almost all your girls return, how do you feel your team this year compares to the other girls teams in the area?
I don't know exactly what every team has. I do know that we have two dominant post players, and matching up, I just think, in competition, we'll be victorious. Other questions?
Thank you, Coach. Next we'll have Woodlands Boys, Coach Lady Williams.
All right, good morning. Really great, but we'll be all right. I'm Coach Williams from Woodville Tompkins. Wes Walker, senior, to my left, and then to my right you have Alfonso Ross, another senior. The difference with this year's media day is we've already started playing, so you kind of got an outlook already of your teams, of my team so far, and a couple things. New classification, new region, but the model don't change. I mean, I heard some of the questions, but you're expected to win. And that's what we're expected to win this year. We don't look at rankings. That's the biggest thing that most people are evaluated on is rankings. And rankings mean nothing. We were ranked 0 going into the state playoffs last year and finished in Final Four. We match up. This year we changed our schedule a little bit to put us in some hostile environments. Make sure that we're playing on the road enough because with the coin flips, like happened to me, I think, 5 years ago, number 1 in the state, coin flip, got to go on the road, kind of got screwed in that situation. So again, we're more focused on playing teams that can push us mentally. This year, of course, with the different region changes, it was hard for us to get a lot of local teams on our schedule. But other players that are not here, Terrence Bush, Joey Bell, Tyler Grant, they've stepped up majorly for us this past few games. Defensively has been our model and focus this year. Most teams think, pressing and trapping is the way to go all the time. And we had to change our demeanor and play a lot of man-to-man, full court. We might do a little bit of 3 quarters, but we're man-to-man more this year, especially with the shot clock. And we want to make sure that teams feel our body, for 32 minutes and not just have open shots. And so that's the model we've changed a little bit. After losing last year, I went back and watched the film a few times, and Butler beat us physically. So we still weight lift 3 times a week after school. They lifted yesterday, so that we're sticking with that. But goals, win the region this year. That doesn't change. Get to the Final Four, and then anything can happen from there. Consistency each day in practice. These guys have to understand we're still a young team, so each game is a little bit different for us. So just consistency. We scrimmaged Bradley a couple weeks ago, and it was funny because we got in at 4 a.m. The night before. We went to watch one of our ex-players play. And so 4 a.m., get these guys up at 6:30 from my house, and then everybody's looking at the Bradley score, and I started laughing. I said, They mostly don't know that I just taught my guys the JUCO life. Travel, play, get up, and do it again. So the lesson we learned from that is just be consistent. No matter what time you go to bed, just be consistent. We're not worried about wins and losses. We're worried about winning the right games and getting better. Any questions?
Yeah, Coach, Wes was out for most of the season with an injury last year. Getting people like him back in the equation, what's that going to mean?
Well, it means a lot, but Wes hasn't played yet. He got hurt in the Bradwell game, so he didn't play against GAC. So we don't put those stats out there, the DMPs or whatever. So Wes didn't play. He didn't start the other night. So we're just trying to get him back in routine. I don't care about playing my bench. And I've said before, I've got almost 250 wins. My job is to prepare the players on the bench. And that's why we got so far last year. It's because my bench was prepared, not necessarily my starters.
There seems to be a lot of confidence from coaches around the area this year. Coaches really feeling like they have a chance to make a run. I know you spoke about beefing up the schedule to kind of put yourselves in more hostile situation. Is that a direct result of what happened in the Final Four last year, or is that just something you've been thinking about as the natural progression for the program?
Good question. It's not the result from the Final Four. It's the result from the Sweet 16 in Elite 8. I had to go on the road to Rayburn County. One day trip, 1 day back. 2 days later, go up to Model. 1 day back. So our students, our players were prepared for that hostile environment. Sold out. You're the hated, you're the hunted. And we went both of those games in the overtime. And without having those teams, like the Valdez, the Toombs County, who packs the gym on you guys, we wouldn't have been prepared for that. So we want to kind of stick with that because 1A in this area is more of the country towns, smaller towns. And they're going to, for any team that's coming from Savannah, they're going to pack that gym and they want you to lose. And so we're just trying to not beef up our schedule from a marketing standpoint or a ranking standpoint. We're trying to beef it up from a mental standpoint.
Coach, you talked about those elite Sweet 16 games being like in Model and these hostile world environments. How do you feel for more of your upperclassmen? How do you feel those experiences will prepare them for this season?
It's already happened. The other night, we're up, 9 in the fourth quarter against Richmond Hill, and they came back and cut it to 1. And we had a sophomore hit 2 free throws to seal the game. But also, when it was a timeout call, you can ask these guys, they came to the bench and I say one word to them, not one word. And they coached themselves. So it prepared them to say, hey, let's step up, let's do this, let's do that. No, they say one word, they went back out and did what they were supposed to do. And if you don't give teams that those goals and those situations, you're going to lose in the Elite 8s. You're going to lose in Sweet 16s because of the fact that the experience matters and the confidence matters. They feel if that happens again, what if we don't have a timeout? And they got to huddle up real quick. Then they've already coached themselves.
So in the opening game, we played GAC, which was about 4 or 5 points, which is GAC is regarded as one of the toughest teams in the state of Georgia. Starting off already being battle tested already. How's that coming for the team? Have you seen a little improvement or a little fight in them?
Yeah, you put Wes Walker in that game, we beat them by 15. Let's just not sugarcoat that, he didn't play. So I'm playing sophomores and juniors. So, your defensive back line, where people are just like the Georgia-Tennessee game, when you don't have your main defensive guys, you're going to struggle. So, and then Alfonso Ross, got to carry the load. So, they played us well defensively. I mean, let's think about it. Held me to 44 points, but I held them to 49 with 2 starters out. So, but that preparing us for New Hampstead coming up. You know, scrappy team, very good, local game. But each game prepares us for something. I like my first games to always be on the road.
And ladies and gentlemen, it is spicy in here. These coaches are really excited about their teams this year. We love to see it. But at the end of the day, a lot of this is going to come down to what they do on the field, on the court, and not necessarily at the not exactly at the press conference. But you got to love the confidence that a lot of these coaches are coming in with, and they should. Savannah area teams played really well last year, and they are looking to play very well again this year.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Coach Curtis Foster with the Forest Girls team. To my left, I have Trinity Myers, right, Raymond Cannon. As we know, this program that we've been building for the last couple of years, trying to prepare ourselves to be a better team. One thing that this team this year, we have to admit, the level has been a lot different this year. A lot more focus on what we need to do. We only lost one player from last year, but all our players did return. And we have been blessed with some great freshmen that have came into the school this year. And I think that the commitment level from all the girls are totally different this year. They worked hard over the summer. They did some of the things that they needed to do is continue to build their skill level, working hard together as a team. Our goal this year is basically to compete, hopefully to place into the region, maybe win the region as possible, and get an opportunity to play in the state playoffs this year. Overall expectation is for us to go out there to play hard, to compete, to make a difference in our program at Winthrop Forest High School. We want to show people that we're not a team just out there just playing. We want to show discipline, character, and we want to earn our respect within the city of Savannah and surrounding counties. Our region, who we're playing, we understand that Pierce County, we did get an opportunity to see Pierce County over the summer. We played in the summer league down in Camden County, so we were able to watch them. We know that's one of the top teams in the region last year. By understanding that right there is a team that we definitely going to have to look out for, to be prepared for. We're striving a lot more for the defense, to play defense, to really get at the ball, really pressure the ball this year, play together as a team, turnover, cut down our turnovers, and skill level has been the biggest emphasis we have put on the program is getting our skill level better than what it's been in the past. With Trinity over here on the right last year, when we lost her to a lot of injuries, I think it kind of hurt our team a lot. When she's a junior, and our right, Raina is a senior, and we look for a lot of big things out of Raina Cannon this year. We look for her to really kind of carry the team and push the team a little bit. That being said, anybody has any questions?
Talk about Tuesday night game.
We had an impressive win over Savannah Christian in that first game earlier in the week. Tell me about freshman Grace Ellington beforehand that she was up and coming to play.
Yes, we had a freshman come in, Grace Ellington, and I would say this, everybody remember that name, Grace Ellington. She's gonna be an awesome player in the city of Savannah here, and she did a great job for us helping out with the victory at Savannah Christian. We also have another freshman named Micaiah Bush that is awesome too as well. Then some of our returning players have gotten a whole lot better than they have been in the past. This team has decided to come together. They bond together a lot, and they have decided that they want to be successful and they want to make a difference in this program for our high school.
Talk about that win on Tuesday night against Savannah Christian. I think you beat them by close to almost. I think you beat them by close to almost 40-something points.
Yeah, the win at Savannah Christian. Basically, we just came out ready to play. We came out ready to play. We assignments. We did our assignments, and we pressured the ball a lot. Did a lot of defense. Worked hard. Our shots were going down. We were very quick, fast on the ball, steals. We played together. The biggest thing about the win at Savannah Christian, we played together as a team, and they complemented each other. Where no one was trying to play selfish, they were complimenting their teammate and playing together as a team. And I've been there for a few while. That's the first time I was seeing this Win Forest team play like that. They played like they really wanted to prove something, to the city this year. Any other questions?
Coach Foster. You already talked about how you're already looking ahead and seeing peers and Valdez, your top teams that are going to be in your region that are going to be powerhouses potentially. How does your early season schedule help you prepare for those teams?
Well, I think we have some good games. We have Effingham and Savannah High. I was looking forward to play Savannah High, and Coach Johnson does a very good job with those girls over there. And I think that they're going to prepare us. And also, we got a game against Jenkins High School, which is always a classic game to us. Jenkins is a very quick team. They play defense. I like the way Coach Brooker prepared her team to play. We play in Ware County. I think Ware County is going to get us ready to play. We also have a game against Swainsboro as well. I think that some of these teams will help us prepare us for our region to get us ready to play.
All right, thank you, Coach. Next we'll have Savannah High. Coach George Johnson was unavailable today. In his place, Shaquanda Middleton. Sorry, Coach Shaquanda Middleton.
Good morning. Like you said, my name is Coach Middleton. I am the assistant basketball coach for the girls Lady Blue Jackets program. To my left, I have India Stafford, a senior, and to my right, I have Paris Washington, a senior. We got a lot of goals this year. We're moving to a different region, which is down to the 1A. We're expecting to win some games, be challenged, and get back to the winning history from Savannah High School. Our returning players, we have Paris Washington, top player in the city of Savannah, India Stafford, Tanaya Bryant, our Asia Mallard. Some guards who will get after it offensively and defensively. As far as, making adjustments to the 1A, we're looking forward to playing Woodville. We haven't played them in a while, but we look forward to the challenge that's going to be in front of us. We actually already had our first game against Meadow Creek High School in Atlanta last weekend. We won by 2. Nasia Mallard made 2 key free throws to seal the game. We're excited about this year. and what's to come. Got a lot of new key pieces, some freshmen, some big bodies that's gonna come in and rebound, play good defense for us. And our guards get after it defensively like they always do. Any questions?
Coach, I think you guys have made the playoffs the last 2 years.
Mhm.
How does that experience help the team going forward?
It helps the team a lot with a lot of people returning. We lost a few seniors, but our core group is back. They got good chemistry. They played together all summer. Being in the gym, working out together, hanging out, getting that chemistry. So I think that's going to just build us up some more.
You talked about your win against Meadow Creek. I mean, your win earlier.
Mhm.
They had already played 3 games, and they're a much bigger 7A school.
Mhm.
How were you able to adjust to stay focused on such a low-scoring game?
Just getting out there defensively, rotating correctly, our guards rather than their guards, going down there to rebound. We send everybody down to rebound, guards and bigs, not just the bigs. So getting a win over a 7A team, going down to a 1A for us was huge.
As far as the shot clock, how have you seen the girls adjusting? I know that y'all just typically, because you tend to be more guard driven, like to play a lot faster. Do you think that's to your advantage as you continue to go on in the season?
Yes, sir. We've had a few shot clock violations just because the kids are adjusting to the shot clock, but other than that, we don't have a lot of shot clock violations. Just a few that first game, but I think we're going to adjust just fine.
One more question before you go on. You caught your young lady Washington the best player in the city. That's a lot to say, right?
I said she's a top player in the city.
Top player, excuse me, top best.
Yeah, top 10 players, yes.
Okay. Do you think that that level of will bring a little more pressure on your girls, or you think that she's ready to handle that?
She can answer. I'm ready. Any other questions? Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Savannah High girls basketball, and looking forward to watching them play this year. They have some excellent guards. They do have some really good bodies that have come in the freshman class. Looking forward to seeing what they do here early on in the season.
Good morning. You're right, Coach Lee. These lights are bright lights. Okay, Coach Tim Jordan. Some guys call me the OG Ryan. She's 38 for me. Been around a long time. So I've been with it. To my left, I have Jermaine Evans, the junior. To my right, I have Kai Jordan, the sophomore. Couple things about you, get it out of the way. John Sam still here? John still here? Oh, he said 8 of the 9 teams in the state. One did, that was us. So we were I said for each other, we were the only one that didn't make state playoffs last year. So it's actually been a while, so there's some changes with the pandemic, so hopefully we can get that going. That's our goal this year, to try to make the state playoffs again. We dropped down to Region Single A. Me and Danny want to let you guys know we're the first D1 coaches in Savannah now. We're both D1 now, lady. So we're both in the same region now, so it'll be good to build around. We played it a couple of times, I think maybe once or twice. The time we worked in the same region, so it's gonna be a tough battle for us. Got a lot of young kids again. Finished last year with 9 freshmen on my varsity team. Played the last 5 games with 5 freshmen on the floor. So I guess that bodes well for the future. Right now, we have about 9 sophomores on our team. So we're still a young group, trying to get better, trying to learn a lot of things. Just go out and play hard and see what happens. Don't know a whole lot about the team in the rural areas, so we haven't played many of those in the past. I said we're looking forward to having the rivalry Woodville. We both fight over that blue and white. Any questions?
Okay, talk about that first game of the season, you traveled to Atlanta to play Southwest Academy. Looked like your team was playing that defense that Savannah High is accustomed to. You beat close to 30 points, Coach. You know,
Well, we didn't actually play Southwest Academy. We played in the tournament at Southwest Academy. We were able to play. We played Towers High School. They were okay. We all trying to get back to the defensive test. You know, I'm an old guy, old school. You know, yeah, John, I got to get adjusted to the shot clock. You know, I know you're talking again, talking about holding that ball and get that lead. That's me too. So just that. But when you got a guy coaching outside, they don't hold the ball 35 seconds now. So we won't have any shot clock by it. I promise you that. And shooting for 35 seconds several times. But got to play pretty good defense. We kind of got to bind into trying to play that team defense because, you know, anybody tell you, it's the old cliche, offense will take the defense to win your championships. You know, if you don't guard anybody, you know, I tell these guys all the time, the score, I tell them, don't do no good if you score 25, your game get 26. I mean, we still in the whole 1 point. So, you know, we're trying to get back to the old defensive ways Savannah High used to play back in the day.
Coach, I remember you telling me last year you had some times where you had 4 freshmen starting. Can you tell me about how those players have developed and with the young squad?
Well, they've gotten better, and like we said too, this is what he said, we got to get strong. They're still young, though. They didn't realize it was an adjustment going from, they were like the man in middle school, but we stepped to high school, it's a whole different level. I took it going from boys to men. And we have coaches, in our school, the locker room is here, the weight room is next door to us. So I tell them, this room here, we're doing okay. We got to get better this room next door to us. We got to get bigger, we got to get stronger, we got to get faster. And someone will get that in, slowly bind into it. So we're trying to get them back to get a stronger, faster team.
Coach, you talked about all the freshmen, now sophomores. Last year, Region 3 and 3A probably was one of the most underrated regions in the entire state. You had 4 teams that basically went to Elite 8. How do you think those freshmen in the fire have prepared them now? I know you talked about lifting weights and stuff like that, but what are some other lessons that these freshmen have learned now that they're sophomores?
Well, you know, your blood kick kind of teach you some lessons now. It teach you a lot. And so I think, you know, the guys kind of learn, hey, nobody's going to feel sorry for you. You got to get in there, you got to go to work. You know, so we try to keep the schedule. We still going to play beach, still going to play Grove, still going to play G, all those in high classifications now. But I think that by putting it in the fight like that, that's going to prepare us for our region. We get down to our region schedule. But just going to show up and try to play hard and see what happens.
Hey, Coach, the amount of depth that you have with all those young guys, and I know the year before you were breaking in a lot of young guys too, and you just tend to really work with developing young talent. At some point, how does that end up working with your rotation as far as making sure that those guys get the opportunities to continue to build and develop?
And being honest, I really think we have more depth this year than I've had in a few years. I go about 8 kids deep and don't really chance. Picking it at 8, put about this first 5. It's not the same. So right now, I think we have a good bit of depth playing. And most of the young kids, I have 3 seniors on the team. They're my good kids. My young kids will be forced to do most of the playing. So by playing over the last couple of years, I think it's going to help us down the stretch. Any other questions? Thank you all very much. And come on, thing like I said, Savannah School, I always preach this. I know football person now, Savannah's a basketball tag. Any boys and girls in this town can beat you on any given night. That comes from Coach Jordan, the OG. Thank you.
Coach, thank you, Coach Jordan.
Coach Jordan always good on the mic.
New Hampstead. Coach Robert Lanier.
Oh no, it's that way. Yes.
I'm Trey Lanier. I'm the head girls basketball coach at New Hampstead High School for girls. This is my second year. Last year, we're coming off a region championship year last year, but we understand that that's in the past, and we're moving into a new region. Got new challenges that we're excited about. To my left here, I got senior post player Michaela Gray. And to my right, I got junior guard Kira Jackson. And I also tried to break a rule and bring a third. I got Layla Williams over there, but they told me I couldn't bring her up or I'd get fined. So, but yeah, we're excited about the year. We're excited about the challenges. And like I said, I mean, our goal is to continue to build a championship program here. We're not stuck in the past. We're still hungry and trying to move forward. So yeah. Any questions?
Coach, I heard you say earlier that you're kind of low on numbers this year. How many girls do you have on the squad, and how is that affecting, I guess, your approach offensively?
Yeah, of course. So yeah, we're definitely low. I got seven varsity basketball players. So it really affects how you play the game. You know, especially defensively. You know, I like to play man-to-man. But with 7 girls and you know, in man-to-man defense, you tend to foul a little more, so you can get in foul trouble. Also, you gotta have your matchups, and also in terms of conditioning. You know, 5 of my 7 girls play flag football, so it's these 2 girls know it. We're behind in basketball in terms of where we need to be at. We've had like a handful of practices where we practiced over an hour. Typically, we're practicing for an hour, loading up on a bus and going to play flag football. You know, it's up to me as their coach to prepare them and use the time that I do have more efficiently. And so yeah, that's where we're at.
Coach, a really exciting championship game last year. Came down to the wire. Some people say you pulled the upset to get the championship. You know that's clearly you're clearly the target for another team out there that will remain nameless right now. But there's going to be a lot of competition within the city, but also some new adventures outside of the city. How have you prepared your girls for that target that you clearly have on your back now?
I mean, obviously, it was a very exciting championship game. There's 2 teams there that were very worthy. Got a lot of respect for Islands. And let's see, in terms of preparing them for the target on their back, it's how you practice, how you prepare yourself, making sure that all your reps in practice is for a purpose, that every layup, every pass is for a championship. That's what we're trying to build. You know, we don't want to step on the court and just be going through the motion. If the quality of our repetitions aren't for championships, then they're not worth it.
Coach, you talked about having most of your girls playing flag football. I know football shape isn't the same as basketball shape, but do you feel like once this football season finishes up, you think they'll be ready and prepared to go ahead and hop in for the season?
Yeah, I do. And yes, you're right. And, I coach both of them. And last year I did the same thing. And, as a coach of 2 sports that are, one sport that's still going on, you're 10-1, you're about to go into the state playoffs as possibly a 1 or 2 seed. And you got 5 of your girls that are, Akira's my quarterback. Michaela is a big time receiver. And, so you're conflicted in basketball in terms of the conditioning level. Like, you need to be conditioned to play basketball. It's a sport that you have to be in the best conditioning in terms of what you do and how you do it. You're going up and down the court for 32 minutes. You're changing directions. You're jumping. Your body needs a lot of oxygen. But then at the same time, do I break them where they can't play flag football? Last year, I had 2 different approaches. And just like us as coaches, we change our approach and we learn. And this year I'm taking a little bit of a different approach. Last year I went to the playoffs in flag football with half of the football team because I broke them in basketball. I ran them like they weren't playing a different sport, and I conditioned them. But it's tough. It's tough for these 2 girls right here, mentally, they're turning off one sport and going into another. And I'm doing the same thing, but they're doing it physically as well. All right, we're good.
It's very hard because I'm trying to hold to the rule about one question, but I have so many follow-ups.
Next
I'm gonna
we'll
hope to
have
catch some of
Coach
these people
Jerry
next.
Williams.
Talk more with them.
Coaches, keep in mind, we have refreshments in the back for yourselves and players as well as the media. So please don't leave.
All right, my name is Jeff Williams. I have Junior Oliver Hoffman to my left, and I have Junior Tolan Hoffman to my right. I think that, with me being new, coming in 3 years ago, dead COVID, not leading my team into the day of trials, not really knowing what I was getting into. You kind of give those kids a pass, but I pretty much had the same mindset as, I wanted to build a successful program. And, last year I was making lists for our banquet, and I didn't realize how bad we were. First team wasn't very good across the board. Last year the team definitely wasn't that good. On the ride over here, I was talking to Oliver, and he reminded me that he was a backup on the JV team that started the season. Total Doctrine wasn't going out of our season. And by the time, the end of the season, we decided to go young. And both of those guys were in our starting lineup. Tolan actually had a couple of games over 20. He had a 30-plus point game last year also. And with us realizing that the program, and I know it sounds crazy, we won the region our first year, lost the region title game last year. But I always tell my kids I know what it looks like. I've coached Division I players, I've trained professional players. So with me and my assistant coach, Jaden Flowers, and he's been the biggest grab for me since I've been here, especially not knowing anybody coming in. He matches my work ethic, if not passes it. We're in the gym 7 days a week, 5 in the morning, weightlifting, Vertimax, shooting machine, plyometrics. And the program is finally starting to turn. We're starting to get some kids that look like basketball players. I did a poll with my team last year and asked them how many people had a trainer, how many people play AAU basketball, how many people play high-level AAU basketball, how many people play pickup basketball. Hardly none. So that's why our program, although we had a little bit of success, was in the condition that it was. One of the things that me and Coach Flowers decided to do is we're going to keep our numbers low. Like, you actually have to know how to play basketball to be on the team. I thought after my first year, because we didn't have that many numbers, that the way to put the program was to keep a large amount of kids. That wasn't the way to go. Our practices were bad, low intensity in practice. Had kids that couldn't pass, dribble, and shoot. All of my teams I coached in the past, the reason that we were so successful, the reason that we're building towards that once again, that type of success, is we want to put 5 guys on the floor that's going to be a threat in some type of way. It doesn't always have to be scoring, but they're going to be able to defend. They understand how to play basketball. They're going to have some type of IQ. So like I said, we're building towards that now. And the scary thing about it, we're super young. But I was just throwing those kids out there last year. We played a tough schedule. We played, I want them to see what it looks like. We played some teams with Division I players. We played the Defending State champions. We started off this year, 3 of the first 4 teams that we play are ranked. We played the Defending State champion Augusta Christian next Friday in the 100 Black Men tournament in Augusta. They have a 6'9" post player just signed with Georgia Southern. They had 2 or 3 other kids with multiple offers. So trying to build a program in the right direction and finally get it the way we want it, I think that it's finally starting to happen. Our starting lineup, we're going to start 3 sophomores and 2 juniors. We won't get to a senior probably till about the 8th kid, but we're going to have 10 on varsity, and all 10 of those kids for the first time since I've been here, we're going to be able to play. Like I would look down the bench and it just wouldn't happen some nights. I didn't have kids to put in the game. Real excited about our young kids. We got a real good group of freshmen that came in. They're really tough, really strong. They're basketball players. They play AAU basketball. AAU basketball matters as far as like having kids that play basketball all year round. My son is in 8th grade. He's going to play JV this year. He's the #1 player in Georgia in 8th grade. So he's been playing high-level basketball since he was in 1st grade across the nation, getting on planes. He's been way more places than I've been. So we're getting an infusion of competitive basketball players finally. And our schedule this year is tough. You know, we play Washington County down in Jones County. Like I said, we open up against Woodfield tomorrow. Really excited about that. Coach Lynn, you know, is a guy I consider a great coach. Also, when I'm looking at the schedule, I just don't look at teams, because a lot of teams, they can win out of talent. I want to coach against guys that are considered the best. So it's going to bring the best out of me and my coaching staff. And also, my kids are going to have to understand that they're going to have to be prepared to compete in these games. So like I said, this is by far the best group that I had. A lot of coaches say that. But this team here will beat that region championship team by 30. I guarantee that.
For the young squad that you're talking about, does that affect your style going into how you describe your style of play?
No, it didn't affect it. It actually brought it back. There's other teams that had the ultimate first team. So that skill level was so low. That, you know, Big Small was a good player, but he's like more like a post player, and that was it. What we have now, like I said, we put 5 kids on the floor, all of them put the ball on the floor, all of them shoot it, all of them can defend. I'm not saying we're going to win every game. We still got a long way to go because we're so young, but starting to see basketball players. We just didn't have that in the program. So it actually brought back my coach style that I prefer. That, you know, we can get out, we can run, we can defend, and we can put the ball in anybody, we can put the ball on the floor, we can basketball.
Coach, you seemed to last year, you had talked about having a lot of guards. You had moved to more of trying to put a bunch of ball handlers on the court at the beginning of the year last year. I know you made some changes mid-year, but you still were able to. Do you think you've just been working towards what you have right now? And is that what is fueling this confidence in the team that you have right now?
Yes, but anytime you put it in work, like I said, you know, it's just like you go and take a test. If you study and you prepare yourself, you're going to feel good about it. Like I said, the first year, because of restrictions, I didn't meet the team until trials. Last year, because we weren't in school that year, we only had like 9 kids in the summer, and we cut 3 of those. So this is the first year that we had a season, and we actually have returning players. We were able to go to camp. We were able to play the summer league. You know, so that's where the confidence comes from, as far as being able to get on the floor and compete against other teams.
I got a question for you and then one for the players. Talk about your other coaches helping training. One thing I've seen throughout the summer, you guys really have paid attention to training these players, not just to be athletic, but to be better basketball players.
Yes.
Is there anybody that's really stood out, like, or really emerged to you from the summer that's probably you didn't expect to develop as quickly as they did?
I tell you, both of these guys, Cohen, he scored the ball. Like I said, he had a 30-point game last year, but man, he was frail. He couldn't guard anybody. I think with the work that he's put in, as well as Oliver. I got Oliver. He was a wide receiver on the football team, tall kid, but you know he made a tremendous jump. Now he's windmill dunking, 360 dunking, he defending, he shoot the 3. Contagious Woodbury, he's a 6'5" sophomore. He's always been the kid that we say had a lot of potential, but you know he's put it together as far as like with the workout. His body's changed. He's like a grown man now. But still, he has to get on the floor with more floor time and show the work that he's been putting in. Rashawn Truell is probably the best shooter in the city. You can't leave him open. He had some great games last year. We have Antoine Humans, another sophomore. His body's changed tremendously. He can defend at a high level. He can score basketball. So You know, those guys put in that work every single day, 5:30 in the morning, late at night. You know, the expectations, and then another thing, the discipline too. You know, one good thing me and Coach Flowers put in. You know, we see them at school, it's like you don't have a uniform on. You know, you stand around about to be late for class, everybody has to run. So just creating that team unity. You know, they're hanging out at football games and stuff. None of that stuff was going on. You know, they have a locker room space that they can go into now. They didn't have that before that day. You know, so the kids have been, you know, working really hard, and those, like I said, those off-season workouts, definitely, like their games went up tremendously. Like, we played in the tournament last year up in Brooklyn, Casey, and I told Coach, I said, man, we're not going to win the game, you know. I know we weren't ready, but you got to see the kid from, you know, Hawkinsville that's, you know, Hartsfield, I'm sorry, at 6'4", 6'5", he's 205, Division I player. I wanted them to see that and have something to work towards, you know. So I think all season work has prepared them for that. And like I said, now we just, you know, most of them got a lot of game experience last year, but we have to go into the game tomorrow at Louisville, start our journey, and show that we're able to put that product on the floor.
And for the players, who has the best jersey in Savannah?
Little Nick.
Yeah. All right, thank you. Maybe you were gonna say that they had a little book or something.
We got just we got stars.
I'm here for the smoke. Make no mistake about it.
I see you put Jordan on the jersey.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know about you out there if you're listening, but I'm here for all the smoke. I want to hear all
Next we
the
have
calls.
Johnson, Coach Ilana.
I expect this Johnson High School presser to be more of the same. Coaches just feeling confident in what their teams bring to the table.
Morning. My name is Coach Ilana. As stated, I coach Johnson's girls. This year we have 4 returners. As you can see from the pictures, we only had 6 girls from last year, but that didn't stop us. We still managed to win the region title. To my left, I have Mariah Bryant. To my right, I have Maya Hamilton. Both of these young ladies are juniors. Our emphasis this year is defense, of course. For the season this year, of course, we want to win another region title, but we're looking to make a deeper run into the state playoffs this year. Any questions?
How many girls do you have out in the squad this year?
This year we have about 15 girls. We have a JV team. We haven't had a JV team in about 4 years. So of course I'm excited about that. And we actually have some young ladies that tried out that are freshmen that can actually play basketball. So I don't have to teach as many fundamentals as I would have had to teach last year.
Coach, obviously you've got to replace a ton of production from last year's team. There's no way around it. How are you looking to space out the scoring and the rebound and an assist that you lost from those 2 players last year?
Well, I continue to push all of the young ladies that I coach to be productive while they're out there, be it defense, rebounding, scoring. These 2 young ladies have stepped up tremendously. They have now become our anchors on our team and to replace the girls that we had from last year, our 2 seniors, Maya Hamilton and Kayla Hankerson. So I'm looking forward. Amani Hamilton. Have Maya here. So I'm looking for these 2 young ladies to step up from last year. the two returners, they already know the expectations, so it is what it is. Any other questions?
The girls program has a strong history of not just winning, but of excellence. You talked about defense, but how do you feel you prepared the girls to be excellent on the defensive end?
Defensively, I always tell the girls that you score for defense. So that's my primary emphasis. Out of our 2 hours of practice, we make practice defense for a solid hour. So that's our main focus. If you can protect the basket, we beat you by 2 points, and it's only 2-0, I'm satisfied. You have anything to say? Any other questions? All right, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Coach. Next, we'll have Coach Derek Campbell.
Good morning. My name is Coach Derek Kemp. Everybody call me Coach Chuck. Went to our last year. We finished 17-11. We had a good year. Made it to Elite Eight. Our second time in 2 years. This year, I have a young team. I actually have 2 seniors, 2 juniors, and the rest are sophomores and freshmen. But of course, the state of Georgia think highly of my program this year. I know Coach Lenny said about the rankings. Right? Pretty high ranking. All right, to my players for a while. To my left, I have Antonio Baker, senior, and also Malachi Robinson, senior. Going back to what I was saying about, about the rankings, pretty high. On my left, Antonio Baker, he's ranked number 29 in the class of 2023. And also he's ranked number 2 in shooting guards of the class of 2023. I think highly of the kid. He's quiet. I know you will have a great season. I'm not worried about that. On my right, Robinson, 6'5", 240. Big. He's a big guard that can knock the 3 down. I've never seen a big guard at 6'5", 240 that can shoot a high percentage from the outside. And I think that's going to be key for us this year because it's going to open the floor for this young man. It's going to be vice versa, right? Pretty much that's it. Looking forward to a good season. We don't have much to say. We like to show on the court what we're going to do this year. Any questions?
Coach, what do you think about the new regional alignment and can we set up any games with local teams that are now out of the region?
To be honest, I don't have no our region Savannah schools on our schedule this year. Our schedule, one of the toughest schedules in Georgia. We playing a team that's like we playing a preseason number 1 state ranked team, 2 number 3s, 2 number 4s, 1 number 7, and we playing a team in Florida that's ranked in the top 10 out of their classification in Florida. The new region is going to look kind of different because Savannah and I left, the OG left me. Who else on Wednesday? That was a good run for the past 4 years. But the new region, I think that with adding the 3 private schools, dealing with football, my guys got something to say about that on the basketball court.
Coach, you said that you don't have much to say, but I think your schedule says a lot. If we keep it in the buck, you don't put that type of schedule together if you don't think you have a team that can go out there and compete. This is a more aggressive schedule than the schedule you put together last year, which was a pretty a pretty strong schedule. Just talk about the confidence that you have coming into this season with the team that you have to be able to compete at that level.
This guy left hand side. He the reason why I made that schedule like that. Also for his right hand side as well. The reason why I made that schedule because I want to throw my plays in the fire early. Because I want to prepare us for the state playoff run. Because we have goals this year. We have our 3 goals this year: is win the Holiday Classic, win our region, and everybody want to win the state championship. But my goal this year is we want to be the best team in February when the state playoffs start. So I'm not going to say our goal is only win the state championship, but to be a better team than we was when we started 2 weeks ago.
Coach, talk about come Tuesday night. It's Monday night, brother. You're going to play your mentor. You know, your teacher, Coach Brian, is coming to town with Dory. You know, throwing everything aside right about now. You know, that's going to be a big game for you personally. But you know, his team is already capable of always being a top contender. So that's going to be a good state contender game already here at Beach on Monday night in the Joe Green tournament.
Monday night will be fun. Me and Coach Brian talk every day. We might talk like 4 times a day. It's like we are brothers, but on Monday we're not going to be brothers. It's all fun and games. I'm always appreciative of Coach Brian because he gave me a shot. He helped me. I helped him as well. He does have a scrappy team. Pretty much our team kind of marry each other. We pretty much run the same thing. We pretty much coach the same. So it's going to be fun. And, you know, like I tell him, he don't live in Allen too no more. He live in Albany now. So on Monday come, you know, I know he got some fans on the side, but, you know, I'm going to give him a little butt with it.
Coach, I got a question for you, and I got a question for Tony. So you've been really busy the last couple of years. You acquired the baseball team. You brought them to the state to the state playoffs. I know that was something that you were proud of. But you guys lost some key players like Ted was an athletic freak, lobbing. You got Devon, that was one of the top point guards here in the area. What does this new season? I know you got some younger players, but any one of those younger players you're looking to kind of step up?
All of them. I have a sophomore, and y'all gonna know his name soon. His name is Fabian Kirkwood. Real tough. I have a point guard, you wanna know as well. Caden Davis. Also have another point guard, Kamari Jones. I mean, I have a lot of kids that I threw in the fire this summer. We went to the top team camp in Georgia at Lake Point. They surprised me. We lost in our region. We lost in our bracket championship to a 7-18 by our own 3 points. And that game right there, that's how he got his first Division I scholarship offer. So we lost Ted Hurst, we lost Damon Williams, but I have some players that are ready to step up to take over. Also, I have a transfer player by the name of Joshua Corderman. He's super athletic. He's long. He's gonna help us a lot too. So pretty much, we just ready to play basketball. We start our season off Saturday in Peach County on the road, and then we come back to Savannah on Monday and Tuesday. We got Bakari Bryant, his game. We also have Harold, I'm saying it right, Howland High School from Georgia. They rank number 4 in their classification. I think like 4 or 5, I'm not sure. I don't care about classification. We just want to play Johnson basketball.
And then for Tony, I know you don't really talk too much. You humble beast for the most part, but this starting with the state playoff run, you got a lot of attention. I know you just got your first D1 offer, but this last 6 months to a year, how do you feel about playing these new teams, like the target that's going to be on your back this year?
I've been prepared for it, so we're just gonna keep working, and I'm gonna just do what I gotta do on the court to be the best. That's it.
Told you don't talk about you.
Hey, real quick, I know a question because Malachi, you played football this year, and you got a chance to really like play in the trenches. It wasn't like you were out there playing wide receiver or anything like that. Like you played against some real big, strong guys. How do you think you're going to be able to take that added physicality and bring it into your game on the basketball court?
I think it'll make it easier for me. Losing weight room a lot, maybe stronger. This will make it easier for me to come down.
Any more questions? That's it. Blessings to all the teams out there this year.
A couple pow-pows thrown out there by the Salty Johnson
All right.
High
Thank you,
Head
Coach.
Boys basketball coach, Coach
Next, we
Chuck.
have Jenkins High School, Coach Breonna Booker. Just a reminder, in the interest of time, if you guys can refrain from asking more than one question. If you have any other questions that you want to talk to each team, you can do that after the media day.
And you know, being reprimanded for too many questions, but you know, we gotta sneak one in when we can.
Good afternoon. My name is Coach Brooker. To my left, I have sophomore Aaliyah Frazier. To my right, I have freshman Anaya Bronner. Let them talk about their expectations for the season and what their goals are.
Our overall expectations as a team is to execute every game and use our full potential and be effective on defense because defense wins games. My goals is to improve a lot from last year, and I want to make it to be defensive player of the year. My goal for this basketball season is to win Legion and have a chance to compete in playoffs.
I want to first start by saying I do agree with Coach Lanier that the transfer from flag football to basketball has been tough for my team. I had 12 girls playing flag football that had to play. I had to practice both flag and basketball at the same time, so we're just now getting the swing of things. Unfortunately, we made an early exit out of flag football playoffs, but we're back and we're trying to get our stride with basketball, so we're super excited to be back in the lab. We were able to scrimmage on Tuesday against a very tough Johnson team, and we're up on tomorrow against Windsor High School, which we go back and forth every year, so we're super excited for that, to tip it off against Coach Foster and his girls. And then we have, who do we have Saturday? New Hampstead, I forget that, New Hampstead on Saturday, and then Savannah High on Tuesday. So we're really swinging. So I'm hoping that by the time we get to a little turkey day, we'll have our best foot in front of us. We are in a new region. We are the only 5A school in the city of Savannah. So send your prayers, your blessings. We'll take them all, okay? As you all know, we're with Statesboro, Bradwell, who were both top 3 in the region last year. Both of those teams won 22 plus games. Statesboro won it all. Bradwell has Bailey Gilmore, so we're up against some really tough competition. Ware County is also in there, but we're ready. This year, 3Ds is our focus. Discipline, that's super important because we do have a young team. We have 8 freshmen. Dedication, being able to put our overall team above our own personal goals and aspirations, that kind of thing, because it's team basketball. And last but not least, defense. Defense does win championships. Defense is how you are able to be successful in the long run. So that is our goal for this season. Any questions?
Coach, you're talking about your early season schedule. It seems like you're trying to keep some of these rivalries alive with teams rather than different regions.
Yeah, super important. I did grow up here in Savannah, so I am home raised. So I do believe in keeping that going. I'm really looking forward to the Beach Savannah High game on this weekend. So it's super important as we spread out to keep the Savannah schools and rivalries going. I think that's super important. Any question?
Coach, I see that in line with keeping the rivalry games, you also, your non-region schedule is pretty interesting. You got some 6 and 7 day schools that are going to be some challenges. I see that in the middle you have the interesting. You picked a 7A team in Richmond Hill towards the end of your season. You had a bunch of region games. You decided to have that there. Was that something to kind of give you guys like a test before you finish the rest of your region schedule?
I think so. I'm gonna credit Coach Terry Hines, who scheduled the game. But at the same sense, we're never gonna back down from anything. So that will give us a good shot to look at how we're getting prepared for the tougher 5A region playoffs, state playoffs, and kind of thing. So it's really good. We got South Effingham also coming up. Good friends with Coach Parker, so that's gonna really show us where we kind of stand against different competition. Any more questions? If not, good luck to everyone this season.
Right, next we'll have Coach Terry Hines.
Once again, good morning to everyone that's here, attendants, members of the, I would say that my athletic colleagues in basketball, as well as the media here, as well. I'm Coach Terry Hines, the head boys basketball coach at Jenkins High School. To my left, I have my junior, Jeremiah James, who played with me ever since I've been at Jenkins High School. And to my right as well, I have a senior, Cameron Davis. Our expectations for our basketball program is to get back to what we are known for. Jenkins has been known for many years as a defensive team. We're the center of the city. And where we are at now is trying to rebuild that culture that we have been trying to regain from the early years with our team. What I've learned since I've been at Jenkins that, you have a lot of pretenders that come around and want to be part of the program. And for years ahead, or years before I got there, a lot of them kind of came out and showed up. So we've been trying to rebuild from that original culture. Now, me as a coach, I'm known for building programs, even on the middle school level, as well as coaching at Johnson High School for many years. One thing I did learn from all my experiences is how to develop a basketball team and develop a culture. Learn from coaches like Coach Gordon at Johnson, learn from Coach Marty Holden up there that gave me my first opportunity, Coach Rick Coleman as well, Coach Solomon that coached at Lions. Everyone gave me an opportunity to really show what I can really do as a coach. And I learned a lot from even when I was announcing games. I watched a lot of basketball, and I got a lot of knowledge from that. What I tell my guys each and every day now is that we have to get to this, what we call tribal theory, all about this team concept on the defensive side as well as on the offensive side. Our expectation this year right here is to, first of all, win the quarter. That is very important to us, just to win the quarter. From winning the quarter, you win games. From winning these games, we're thinking about our overall goal is to be competitive at our region. Next from there is to get past the first round of state playoffs. That has been a goal of ours, getting past the first round. We have found ourselves in games where we had to go on the road, where we were one year we got railroaded at the end, and another year we had them against the road, so we just couldn't finish. And that comes to a part of our culture now is finishing these games. We can compete
all 4 quarters in the last minute or two, we find ourselves up against the wall, or we cannot complete the game. With that being said, free throw shooting. I know a lot of coaches have not mentioned that tonight, but free throw shooting has pretty much cost us all our losses. To me, it has, because we shoot poor from that aspect. So during this off season, we finally have a real off season. Last year, we never really had a whole basketball team the whole season. COVID really hit us hard. COVID and injuries. So we really never got an opportunity to really show what we really had until the first round of state playoffs. And when we went to play Monroe, we had them pretty much the whole game. After the game, the coach came and he said, y'all guys' record does not reflect y'all level of skill. I said, yes, we really never had our whole team the whole season, so we really never got a chance to really get the opportunity to guard. We have put together a pretty nice basketball schedule with the games that we can find in city teams, as well as going down to Florida, playing in the tournament down there. And that's what we call our bonding trips, when we go to Central Florida, play against some of the best teams in that area there. Last year, we had a really good showing down there. From there, again, just having stability, having the guys return. I have my whole core returning for last year. Plus, the good thing about it, this same core I have for another year. So we get a chance to really fix some areas. And as you can see, this year right here, coming into the season, this has been our first week of practice. If coaches that have 80 or 90% of their football team is on your basketball team, you can quite understand where I'm coming from. So we had tried some on Monday. Just to put you in perspective of where we at. But the good thing about it, I have my core back. So these guys kind of got to understand what we're trying to do offensively and defensively. Any questions?
Yeah, but you said you're not full court coming back. Is that include Tavion Gaston? I know he's in Florida State a lot of times.
Well, Tavion, he's right now, he's wanting to play. But he's having, he has some surgery done, so that's going to prevent him from participating in the early part of the season. It's just so minor, but you might see him. He came to play with 32, so so you probably will see him in some aspect with the team. Any other questions?
You talked about not really having people to gel together because of injuries and stuff like that. And also with, I think last year you had about 6 or so games where you lost by 6 or less points. How much do those injuries and not being able to gel even with the football, your football program just allow you to have tryouts just recently? How does that affect your late game execution?
Well, the issue that we definitely had last year was that we never really had the whole team. It's like some games we had one game we had 6 players, one game we had 10, and then we had to balance that off with a lot of JV players, so they were not varsity already at that moment. And most of those kids were coming straight from middle school, so playing under those big lights of high school is a lot different playing on I would say the lower level lights on the middle school level. But what we have accomplished throughout the summer is that we got an opportunity to really see what our region team look like, and having the guys that play football be able to go through the system. And like I said again, we preach system. Many great coaches around the country, they have a system of play. They basically a team off and say, hey, Duke, we play this style of basketball. Kentucky play this style of basketball. At Jacobs, we have our own style as well. It took me, I would say, several years to really figure this thing out, developing a system that would work for our team, and then evaluating our team this fall and summer. Me and my coaches, we went to clinics. We did a lot of soul searching, trying to figure out what type of team we have. And then now with having guys mainly conditioned for football, but transferring the condition to basketball, I don't think it's going to be too much of a transition because the guys already understand what we're trying to do. Any other questions?
Coach, when is your first game?
Our first game was against the OG. Coach J. We have a long history as well. I know Coach J forever. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. All right, next we'll have Islands High School. Coach Carlton Moss.
Tim, they gotta turn his lights off. Coach Carl Massey, I am the OG in the room. Got my man by 1 year. This is my 39th year coaching basketball on all levels. I've never missed a season coaching basketball. So whether it was middle school, JV, varsity, college, and it's, believe it or not, a sport that probably was my favorite because I never made a varsity team. So all you guys that play high school basketball, congratulations. And what you're doing here in Savannah, as the other OG said, Savannah's a basketball town, and that's what it's all about. I'm back to my roots, 1983, first year coaching, girls basketball. And Jamie Salas has done a good job with this program. The girls are very talkative, very fundamentally sound, and it's been a pleasure coming in. But like everybody else is saying, train, flag football, softball, volleyball. I have not seen a full team until Monday. Monday's the first time I had 14 girls at practice. I've been seeing 5, being 6, 8, 9. Couldn't scrimmage 5-on-5, so we did a lot of 4-on-4, 3-on-3. So it's been tough. And we opened up against a pretty good team Monday night against Richmond Hill. The two girls to my sides, and I'm gonna say this, and I mean it, probably two of the best athletes, whether it's female or male, I've ever coached. I've coached Devon flag football, softball. It's going to be an honor and a privilege to coach Veronica Sears here. I mean, 22 points a game, 17 rebounds a game. She averaged almost a double-double every game last year. Watching her grow as a freshman, watching her in middle school. And I'm privileged to get to coach her. Devon, softball, unbelievable. Flag football, second team last year. This year she decided not to do flag football. They're both Division I players. So I can go to Syracuse to play volleyball. So I can play softball at ECU, East Carolina U. So that tells you a lot about these young ladies. Now, ladies, this is your show because this is your team. I mean, first year coming back to girls basketball. Anything you want to say about your team this year?
So we're predominantly like senior team this year. So as seniors, me and Veronica are trying to push the freshmen to be a little bit more aggressive on the court. They're coming from middle school, so they're not too much aggressive on the court. We're just trying to push them to be aggressive and hustle everywhere. We're just trying to keep that same standards that Coach Salas kept us to our past 3 years. And coming in, we're just gonna have to make sure that we're preparing them for the next year because we are losing 6 seniors next year. So it's gonna be a predominantly young team next year. So pushing them to the standards that we've been pushed through our 4 years is just a big part of what me and Veronica are trying to do this year.
I'm just excited. It's our senior season, woohoo! And so, adding on to what Devin said, we are predominantly a senior team, and we're just excited for the last season. And we might have lost, so we lost one of our main players, Hannah Summerall, last year. She averaged probably like 10 points last year. And so we had a lot of freshmen coming up and coming in, and we lost our coach. But we have the legend with us now, and so we're excited to play.
You knew you were going to throw that legend in there. So, and you know, it's not me, it's them. This is all about them, and that's my outlook this year. Yes, of course, goals. All right, goals is, first step is to win the region. Second step is to get to the playoffs, hopefully get 2 or 3 rounds. You never know what can happen. Very young team, 6 seniors, but 3 of those seniors will be starters, okay? The rest are sophomores and freshmen. Not many juniors on the squad. That's my outlook. Goal for these 2 young ladies, let's take it one step at a time, win each game one step at a time. We're not looking to the end product coming February. Hopefully with all the practices and games we're gonna get, we'll gel to be playing in February, as Coach Chuck Campbell said. That's our goal right now. So, any questions? We'll take them.
Coach, what?
Hold on.
Well, you heard this from all the coaches, and Coach Jordan, Coach Lenny, defense, Coach Chuck, defense. That's going to be our strength. And believe it or not, I've coached with a shot clock. Back in New York, the girls and the boys had a shot clock way back in the 80s and 90s. So the shot clock is nothing new. So I have I think I have a little advantage of knowing how to use the shot clock, how to, run my defense with the shot clock. Then, of course, I mean, what can you say about these 2 young ladies? I mean, they're coming in established on offense. They work well together. I mean, they don't even have to talk on the court. Each other, is, and it's going to make it a lot easier. But my philosophy, offense will win you games, but defense wins you championships.
What brought you to the point where you wanted to change from the boys back to the girls? Was that just because of your roots, or what was that about?
It wasn't the roots. It's that when Coach Salas came and he was undecided what he was going to do, and then he made the decision. Family situation changed, married, family, couldn't get there early enough for practice. Parent pressure from the girls always practicing late till 7:30, 8 o'clock sometimes. The parents wanted the practice earlier. So it opened up. And then, of course, when it opened up, Mr. Butler and Mr. Guilford came to me and said, well, we're going to need a boys coach. And, I was following Coach Stovell on the internet with all his camps and stuff he was doing with the kids. And then he applied for an English job that opened up. I gave Mr. Butler and Mr. Guilford a recommendation that I felt that it'd be no problem me stepping over to the girls and Coach coming in and doing the boys. That's the reason why it happened.
Coach, look into February. I think 2 years ago, a devastating loss in the region championship to Jenkins. Last year, a devastating loss, to say the least, in the region championship to New Hampstead. And maybe this isn't a question for you, but more for the ladies because they've been a part of it. How are you getting it done this year?
I think if we just work harder in practices and have we want to win mindset, I think we'll be fine. And I mean, last year it was a heated game, and New Hampshire just came out on top. And so if you were there, you were there. It was very heated, so it was a good game.
Oh, I was there.
Like she said, just working, having that I want to win mindset, having that vengeance, we want to win, we should have won, but stuff happens and we just gotta come back better, come back with the mindset that this is our game and we're gonna come and do it this year.
As from a coaching standpoint, I'm not worried about playing New Hampstead now. I'm worried about New Hampstead when I play New Hampstead. I know Trey since he's been crawling. He's a good coach. He's energetic. He's competitive. He's doing a great job over there with the basketball and the flag football. But we'll worry about New Hampstead when we get to New Hampstead. We'll worry about whoever we're playing when we get there, just like Burke and Wayne County. Wayne County, perennial state championship team. Burke County, always aggressive. So my philosophy is one game at a time. I'm going to look at my opponent who's next on the list, and that's what we get ready for. And we're not going to talk about what happened last year, the year before. And they told you right there, the better team won that night. So that's how it's going to go for me and how I'm going to try to transpose it onto these young ladies. Anything else?
Coach.
Yes.
This one's for your players. You guys have gotten a lot of state recognition, also national recognition in different sports. But how has your experience in these other sports kind of prepared you for this upcoming season?
So going in front of Florida for softball has like put a lot of push through me because we went into the season where we just want to play to play. Like we didn't have a lot of expectations for that season, but we just kept winning and kept going, and we just ended up making it Final Four, which I was very excited for. So I'm just really hoping for the same thing for basketball. Just taking it one step at a time, one game at a time, because at the end of every softball game, it came down to that last inning, and it's going to come down to that last second for every basketball game. So just making sure that we're playing to the end and playing to that last buzzer is just very important for everybody. Yeah, adding on to that, during volleyball games, we were very dominant in volleyball, and so we would win most of our games. And so bringing that into basketball season, I want to be better than the volleyball team was, if that makes any sense. I want to be as good as they were.
One step better, that's what you want to do.
Yes.
There you go. Other than that, as always, go Sharks.
Thank you, Coach Demasi. Next we'll have Coach Reginald Stovell.
I like this. My name is Reginald Stovell. I'm the head coach for Islands High School. First year coaching, first year here. Blessed to have this opportunity. Blessed to be a part of the game one more year. I played high school, college, and also played some overseas. I always remind these boys I give them buckets. I try at least. Anyway, to my left, I have Aiden Glamis, sophomore, 6'6", shooter, sneaky defender. To my right, Jordan Cave, the legendary, he's gonna be legendary, Jordan Cave, okay? Shooter, he'll give you a bucket, don't sleep. If you sleep, okay, go ahead, okay? He's gonna get you, okay? So that's who I have next to me. As far as this season, from the time from the first moment I met these guys and everybody, I'm telling them, we work. That's it, we work. Because the way I learned the game, X's and O's are one thing, okay? But in terms of putting in that everyday mentality, you gotta get it done. That's what I'm trying to deliver, okay? It's all about attempts, it's all about, if you're not shooting a shot, you know what I mean? You gotta attempt the shot, you gotta try, okay? I know that in this city last year, they had a certain record. It don't matter to me no more, it shouldn't matter to them. You know what I mean? Everybody might look at us as a walkover, it ain't gonna happen. Guarantee that, okay? Y'all look at us, y'all better be ready, okay? As much as you guys are coming at us, we're gonna come at you probably 1,000 more times. I like to think about myself as playing right now, and that's the energy I give them. Because I love the game. I know everybody out here loves the game, but in terms of just being able to play, get out there, and this is an opportunity, it's a privilege, all of this. I try to sell that off to the fellas. In terms of expectations this season, again, I go back to the day by day. We got to go and look at what we do every day. Okay, be our best selves was what one of the guys said. Okay, I think it was my man to my left. He said, "Be our best self," and that's important because you know what I mean. You guys out here, you guys are great players. Okay, but when we compete, let's see what happens. That's my mentality. It's not about, I'm gonna beat you. Yeah, we might, but we gotta do what we plan every day. We gotta be our best self. So that's, you know, a little bit on the expectation end. In terms of, you know, what we're thinking about the season, our opponents and so forth, you know, we know that there's a lot out there. We know that, you know, you guys are, you know, we just got through talking. Johnson got a D1 commit. You know, Woodville has some guys. I know you got some guys. Savannah, I know I saw y'all at the Summer League. Y'all remind me of some teams in Chicago where I'm from. With y'all length and speed. You know, you guys can be great. But Islands, I saw what we had this summer. I gauged this summer at the high school, watching the Summer League. And yeah, it was all about that fourth quarter. We died out. So you could ask these boys, I'll give them the microphone in a second. You could ask them what I've been trying to instill in us in terms of our bodies. Our minds, yeah, okay. But our bodies need that fourth quarter. We need to go. You know what I'm saying? So, but I want to pass the microphone to them and see if they want to say anything about expectations.
I'm gonna try to be the best version of myself. I know that we have a good team. I know that we can compete with every team, that we're not that much worse than anyone. We can compete with everybody here. So.
Like this year, we have a pretty new team, like compared to last year. We have a lot of younger guys, like freshmen and sophomores that are not playing varsity basketball. And like me being a junior now, kind of gotta help get those kids like more confident and getting them reps in so that they can be ready to play at a bigger level. Because I know my freshman year, it was kind of a big difference going from middle school to varsity basketball. So helping those kids to like develop the game and practice every day and work hard and compete with each other kind of helps all of us get better and help me become a leader on the team.
All right. Yeah, so I also want to say something about chemistry and camaraderie. I think that that's an important piece that I want to bring to the table. The fact that we need to be together, man. No matter what happens out there, we have to, be together. You know what I mean? Build friendships, build relationships, okay? Understand when somebody's having a bad day, want to leave them alone. Understand when somebody's doing something good, give them a hand, clap for them. You know what I mean? One big thing I try to deliver is this idea that if somebody gives you a good pass or something, basically say, hey, good pass, man. That's what's up. Thank you. Somebody sets you a good screen, man. Stuff like that. I mean, little things like that can add up to build some chemistry. Definitely looking forward to the season. This is probably most excited I've been since Christmas when I was like 9, 10 years old. You know what I mean? I'm loving what can happen this year. So, yeah, definitely.
Coach Cole, as a first year as a head coach in the area, what can we expect as far as style of play?
Okay, I've been working with some different offenses so far in practice. Some have been working. Some of the things that we've been doing have been working. Can't give you everything. I wish I could, But basically what we've been doing is effective. Probably gonna give them one more thing to work on. In terms of our defense, I want to mirror what is in this room in terms of the defensive philosophy. Man, these guys play some deep. For real. They get after it. I'm talking about the OG. I'm talking about we play Winston Forest, unfortunately, in the Summer League. But I learned from everybody. Groves coach, I learned from him. I mean, I see what they do, and I'm gonna give that to us. Maybe we can do it better. You never know. Any other question?
Coach, first game of the season, you have St. Andrews. I know they're not a GHSA school, but they won the Giza State Championship. How do you feel that first game of the season will prep you guys for the remainder of the season?
It's a good way to gauge us. I'm gonna give the microphone to him because I know he knows a lot of these guys. And the thing is, the fact that he knows them. I'm from Chicago and I grew up watching Jordan. This idea that, if you're competing with somebody, we're not full friends. Ain't no friendship. Him and Isaiah, they still don't talk. But, this man right here, he knows me. He's like, oh, I know those guys. They're my friends. So I'm a little worried. I reminded him in practice. I said, these guys are not your friends, man. All right? So I know he's gonna say something else, but at the end of the day, my emphasis on competitive nature. Okay, I want to compete. I know that they have some guys, two of which I coached last year at BC as an assistant. Pretty solid kids, but I believe we can beat them because we got some tough kids. I mean, we smile and we nice, but tough. We are tough.
Like Coach said, I do know a lot of those kids because I play AU with them, and he is kind of lying about the friends thing. I mean, I always have friends with them, but definitely not on the court. It's different then. But I mean, they do have a very scrappy style to play, very fast style to play. But I think we'll be able to compete with them when that time comes, and I will be prepared to have a good game against them, and not let any state championship, whatever expectations from them, affect us and how we play. We're just gonna play the way the Sharks play, and we're not gonna let their run, their state championship run, affect our mindset coming into the game, thinking that they're all that, whatever. Which they're a good team, but I feel like that we can compete with them and any other team.
Yeah, he's right. I mean, we can compete with anybody, and that's key. Okay. But I also want to say one thing before I leave is that, even though we talk about, competitive, being mean, being, going out there and playing, this is a fun game. I always want to tell them, be happy. We're joking, live in the moment. As a player, I still wish I could play sometimes. But at the end of the day, it's for them, and I'm happy to do it. You know what I mean? Because it's those vibes are also part of success. So definitely want to move forward. Keep that constructive ideas, and do the best we can. Any other questions? Okay, God bless. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Coach. Next we'll have Groves High School, Coach Amber Chambers.
Hello, Coach Chambers at Groves High School. With me, I have Renee Robinson. She is actually my only senior on the team this year. So this was my second year coaching. So she's like the only person that pretty much knows my system and my expectation. So that's why I brought her, because she had a big role to play this year. I have about 8 freshmen. So it's another skill development. Yeah, hard practices. So as far as my expectations for this year, it's definitely going to be defense because, like I said, I have a lot of freshmen. I have a lot of fresh young legs. They're smaller. We're quicker this year. So that's pretty much my expectations. Any questions?
Coach, what was your biggest takeaway from first season?
Probably we didn't have the teamwork that we should have had last year. I had coming in, 4 of the girls on my team last year were seniors, so they were already kind of built into this mindset, which was kind of hard to change. So we didn't really click like we should have. But this year is definitely different because I'm able to catch these freshmen when they're young and kind of build them up into the system we're trying to create now. Any other questions?
Coach, you talked about skill development. Now that you have a lot of younger players, I know last season was rough, but what are some takeaways that the players are kind of like, they feel like they were able to take from that season?
Yeah, two from that season.
For the two players, how, like, what were they able to kind of feel like they were able to lead the team?
As far as, well, I have a sophomore this year, and she was pretty much my most improved player. She's a post player. So her takeaways were that she realized that she needed to be more consistent under the basket as far as rebounding. So we worked on a lot of that. That's what we're doing now, working on rebounding, making sure she's understanding where she is under the basket, her placement, stuff like that. So it's kind of those type of roles we're adjusting to this year. Any more questions? No? All right, that's it.
All right, next we'll have Coach Kevin Evans.
Good afternoon, Kevin Evans, Rose High School. To my right, I have Jaquan Singleton. To my left, I have Kareem Manning. Expectations is to compete every day. We want to win the day. We always talk about competing against ourselves and our teammates, and that's what we really want to do. Practice has to be hard. We want our practices to be hard so that the game comes a little easier to us. So we're getting out there every day. Intensity is high. No matter what we're doing, whether it's shooting jump shots, whether we're working on post, station, whatever we're doing, it's high intensity. We lift 4 days a week. They hate it sometimes because of how much we lift, but that is the biggest thing for us, especially being that we're not as big as last year, obviously losing Mr. 6'8". So we had to do a lot more strength and conditioning when it came to the weight room. Goal-wise, we want to hold teams to less than 40 points a game. And I want 100% all my seniors to graduate and get the opportunity to play at the next level. That's probably my number one goal. Jaquan played football this year for the first time. He's getting some offers from some schools, some interest. And then Kareem Manning to my left, he had some schools talking to him. He currently has, I think, a 3.5 GPA, so he's become a nice target for some D2s that's started to reach out. That's pretty much it. We're going to play our style of basketball at pros. We're back on the road again. We do have a home game. Thanks to Coach Watson and Coach Shaw, we get a chance to have a little home court. We play at their gyms. But other than that, we're just going to give it everything we got, play ball the rubber way. Hopefully, win a region again. That's the goal always. And be the best team in February. Being that I'm in the region with Coach Campbell and Coach Hayward, it's only three of one that's got to get it. I don't know which one that's got to get it. So not saying that's the only competition in the region, but just being honest, I think we kind of make each other better with us three. So we don't really see the private schools, not saying they can't compete with us, but we kind of always talk about competing against each other and making each other better. So.
Gerald and the Johnsons to graduation, kind of your big three. Is there any, what kind of impression do you make or surprise people with this team?
The biggest thing is that's three kids. I dressed out 15 last year, 15, 16. We played GAC in the whole state playoffs. Every kid that dressed out played in those games. So we're deep. I think a lot of times, we've been hearing a lot. Tremaine, Gerald, Akeem is gone, but this kid next to me started every game. The kid to the right of me started every game. So they're battle tested. I have Philip Bean. He's going to be really good. Kanye Williams. But Cormel McCray is probably a senior that nobody has seen yet. He transferred over, he couldn't play varsity. He had to play JV. He's probably going to be a big X factor for us, as well as, like I said, Kanye King. We have a kid, Aiden O'Neal, that played football, that didn't play last year as well because of injury. So we have about 16 kids right now that can all play. And because we play defense the way we play, we're not focused on just one player. So I think that's going to be the surprise. When people see us, they're going to say they're really not missing a beat on the defensive side of it.
Coach, last year was when I was at Windsor versus Calvary, and you were at the game, and Calvary, who's now in your conference, now in the region, they kind of pushed that Windsor Forest team. I think that was the lowest win point when they had it that season. But you said something. He's like, "Oh, I got something for them." So you really do a good job of making in-game adjustments, not just like coaching, but also putting your roster. You say you got 15. Yeah, 15, 16 players this year that you said all can go. What kind of style of basketball do you kind of expect for those players to play this year?
Well, first I want to give homage to that dude standing in front of you, Coach Jordan. I learned that from him. Everybody got ready to play next man up. So my 16th person can play just as much as my first person. So that's how it has to be. Again, if you don't, if you don't get that one person that role having to do everything, it makes everybody have to do their role. The biggest thing with us is we don't have 2 25-point scores. I have 10, 12 guys that all give me 7 to 8 points. You do the math, that's a successful team in high school. The biggest thing, like I said, is holding team less than 40, so defense is going to open up a lot of offense. So the biggest thing we're doing this year is working on the half-court game. Because we did a lot of running up and down with this shot clock, we have a lot of half-court situations we got to be able to score at. That's what we kind of did in our last scrimmage game. The team wasn't really, good, no disrespect to them, but we had to really just slow it down and just stop working on half court because I think that's what hurt us the most when we got deep into the playoffs. No questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Evans. All right, next we'll have Beach High School. Coach Gordon is not available today. Coach Watson will speak on her behalf.
How you doing? I'm Coach Watson. I'm here to represent for the Lady Bulldog basketball team as Coach Gordon could not be here today. She asked me to share with you that this upcoming season, she's going to spend a lot of time in skill development, developing each individual player. From last year, she has three people returning from her team on last year. She graduated 5 seniors. To my right, we have Leah Williams, who's a senior. To my left, we have Omarion Grant, who is a junior. Them, along with one other person who's not here today, Victoria Solomon, they're the only 3 starters and returners from last year. So we look forward to a season of growth and development. And we're going to come every day. We're going to compete. Any questions?
Coach, I guess the style of play would be beach, but always the defensive first. Expect that again.
Yes, we're always going to stay committed to the principles, Lady Bulldog style basketball. No matter the personnel, we're going to be committed to, compete hard, getting after each and every game.
Ladies, there's been a standard of the way things are done at Beach. Are you looking forward to continuing that tradition at Beach and what's been built over the last, God knows how many years now?
Yes, because we come from a team where we're coached by coaches that have been played at beach, and they want us to continue striving, playing defense, hustling, working hard, having a chemistry, and building a team that we are made to be. They don't want us to drag. They don't want us to play down to nobody on the team. They always want us to play up and play ahead of ourselves.
Any other questions?
Coach, normally we have the media day before the games start, but you guys already played Lady already played South Effingham. What are some kind of key takeaways that you guys can take away from that game that can prep you all for the rest of the season?
We played Brunswick in the scrimmage on last Saturday. On Tuesday night, we played South Effingham. Those early games always give you a chance to look at your team and see weaknesses and where you have to develop, your team to get ready to compete, in the late season, January, February, March. So we're working through that each day in practice. Games give you an opportunity to make adjustments with your practice schedule and how you train your kids in the off season, not the off season, but during the season to be ready on Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday nights. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Watson. Next we'll have Coach Simon Hayward. Hayward.
Hey, how y'all doing today? My name is Coach Simon. This is my 5th year being the head coach of the boys basketball team. To my right, I have James Leach. He's a senior. To my left, I have Shamari Hugie, who's a senior. Just to piggyback off of last year, we made the Final Four run. Opened up the season with high expectations. I've been preaching to the guys. We still got stuff to work for. We can't live off of last year's success. This is a new season. Last year, we started the season unranked and finished in the top 10. This year, we opening up in the top 4, but we still got work to do. These two guys have been working hard all summer with their leadership. I like what they've been bringing to practice every day. Bringing back 4 starters from the last year squad. Had 2 transfers transferred in, Brandon Kessler from Savannah High and Jaden Newton from Bethesda. Kanye Cook will be another guy that been working hard all summer. He'll get a chance to show the work he's been putting in this summer. DeAndre Jones didn't play varsity into the state playoffs last year. Bring great defensive intensity to the team. And lastly, I got James Tisby. Didn't play that much last year. Been working hard over the summer, so he done cracked the varsity rotation. And I did miss one guy. Got a freshman, Demetrius Holloway. He's been with me since this summer, working hard, made a spot on the varsity team, and we'll be getting in the playing rotation on the varsity squad.
As far as our goals for this year and this season, we want to get 1% better every day. And our main goal for our last year as the seniors, me, James, and Tyrese, we came together and decided we want to win state for our last year, because if you one of the guys, you feel me, out of the city, you gotta win the state championship. That's just what we on. We ain't ducking no smoke.
Oh, I see the energy that, I see we have better chemistry. I see our chemistry getting there, this season, you know what I'm saying? It can get better and better. At the first game, we learned, what we did wrong, you know what I'm saying? And then we done got better and other. Sometimes I know what I need to do, what I need to work on, so I'm gonna tell you my goals for the season is to really just get better than like just do better than I did last year. Like I want to average like a double, like 10 points, at least 10 plus points, 10 plus rebounds, and at least 5 to 7 blocks. I think I can do that. Yeah. Any questions?
Okay, Coach, you guys went to the Final Four, great season last year. As a coach, coming into this year, what are the things you think you can improve on that?
Well, one thing, we always been playing defense all year. The thing that kind of tickled me last year, most of the games that we played, I didn't have my full squad. And then on top of that, most of the games we lost by less than 7 points. So we used to playing in close games. So, last year, we know the mistakes we made. That Cross Creek game really kind of sat on us for a while. And got a chance to, review the film with the guys and see what we did wrong so we don't make those same mistakes this year.
Coach, last year, I feel like a lot of guys kind of slept on you guys. Since you guys now said you're not ducking any smoke, I know Barry, he transferred to Huntington Prep, but now, Shamar is now your leading scorer from last year that's here. What kind of expectations do you have for him this upcoming season?
I'm gonna say this, and I want everybody to hear me. Shamari Hughes is the best player in the state of Georgia, hands down. I feel like that, and I've seen the work that he's been putting in this summer. Every time Shamari called me, "Hey, Coach, I want to get in the gym." 6 o'clock in the morning, "Coach, I want to get in the gym again." 4 or 5 in the afternoon. So I'm going to let him showcase what he's going to do this year. With Larry being gone, that is going to make everybody elevate their game. Opening up the season, I think Shamari usually had 22 points, up from 6 points. He averaged 16 last year. James Leach was averaging 7 points last year. On Tuesday, he had 15. And my freshman, sophomore point guard, he was averaging 6 points last year. The first game, he averaged 13. And then Tyrese Bellamy, another returner, he was averaging 6 points last year, almost about 10, 11 points. So as far as LJ transferring, he was a pretty good player, but it just made everybody else elevate their game and showcase their talents.
Coach, I love the energy everybody's on today. To a man, everybody seems to be really confident in their teams, confident in the players that they have. Once again, your region, even without one team that was there last year, is still going to be one of the most meat grinding regions in the state. Like, how do you not only navigate this season, but also make sure that you keep your team healthy to get to that run at the end?
As far as the region, we know we're on a different end of the spectrum. Normally, we was the hunters. Now we're the hunted. And just the Groves and the Johnsons, I know the battle we're going to have to go through every night with those guys. Because Coach Chuck and Coach Evans, we talk on pretty much a weekly basis. And we know iron sharpens iron. And with Savannah High not being in our region, we made sure we scheduled that Beach and Savannah High rivalry because the city needs that. And every time I get a chance to go against Coach Jordan, I learn something every game. And as far as the private schools, we really didn't play too many private schools in the recent years, but I'm looking forward to the opportunity. And that's it.
Coach, when we get back to what the boys were saying about the toughness of this region, my mind takes me back to 2012 when I hear about the state rankings. When we went in 2012, we went into a new region in AAA with Johnson and Savannah High. Going into the preseason ranking, I think, Coach Jordan, you could remember this, Johnson and Savannah High was the preseason ranked team 1 and 2, and wound up playing for a state championship team playing for the state title that year. Here we go again. We're in a new region this year, but the road rankings are a little bit lower. We have the number 3 and the number 4 state-ranked team in the city of Savannah. And bar none, we know that's coming out of Savannah that Beach and Johnson has the capabilities of making that run to a state title. What, coach? We got road that is going to be competitive. You know, we cannot overlook Long County. Long County has always been in the mix. So, hey, this is going to be a tough region, coach. How do you prepare for this by night in and night out when you have to go like this? This is going to be a very tough region this year.
That's a lot right there. But just like I tell my guys, man, we're gonna take it one game at a time. I know for starters, every night it's gonna be a hard fight. For us, all of us, I always been an underdog going into every game. For the most part, in some games, some people gonna just expect us just to come in and just beat everybody. Or beat certain teams just because of what we got on paper. But I appreciate the guys every day, man. We just gotta get better and just keep coming close and just take it game by game. And for these seniors and underclassmen, just have fun and trust the process. Any more questions? Thank you.
All right, thanks everybody for coming and hanging out, and I think we got some good things going on here, some good rivalries being renewed, and real excited, get some excitement about this season coming up. So we got some light refreshments out in the lobby. Help yourself with that. You guys can set that up. Any more media has any more questions? We just want to grab up those from players and ask some more questions out there in the lobby. Please feel free to do so. Thank you very much.
That's gonna be a wrap from SCCPSS Media Days. It was wild, like coaches were out here talking, big talk, and now it's going to be on them and their players to back that up. There's a lot of expectations. I know coming out of Johnson, a lot of expectations coming out of Beach. Jenkins High School, they feel like they've been underappreciated. We heard what was said from New Hampstead High School. Their boys and their girls teams both feel like they have an opportunity to be better. Jenkins girls are going to be better. Islands is loaded with, don't get them fooled, they're loaded with D1 talent, even though that Division I talent isn't necessarily coming from basketball. That talent does transition over. Veronica Searson might have something to say about being the best player in the area, if not the state. How crazy is that? She has no desires whatsoever to play basketball in college. She's going to college to play volleyball. When you just look around this area and you see all the talent, all of the things that are available in this area, there's no doubt in my mind that the Savannah area is one of the premier basketball places in all of Georgia. If you don't believe so, just wait and see. For this SCCPSS Media Day, I'm Coach Gene Clemens. We'll see you all next time.